Yo, 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 time for another installment of Flash Animation. Whoop, whoop. So today we're going to do what's called some drop-down text. For those of you who haven't already done so, you realize that we have our file here. Let me show you a little trick here. If you open it up in Google Chrome, and if I go to the pages, let's say we go all the way back up to the top where the table of contents is. We're going to say we are on chapter 4, which is going to chapter 5, excuse me, which will be the drop down text. Click there because I made a link for you. It's invisible, and click there. Boom! It takes you right there to number 5, which is the drop down text. So what we need to do is start off by making a new ActionScript 2 file, and we're going to modify the document properties on that again. Let me zoom in on this thing. Where is it? We're going to change it to 500 by 200. So we're going to modify document or Control J. Title this, call it drop down text. Dimensions will be 500 pixels in width. Oops, that says 400. 500 by 200. That will be 24 frames per second. Faster the frame rate, the smoother the animation, ladies and gentlemen. And then we are going to click OK. And now we are good to go. And next, we're going to go ahead and grab the text tool. And let's go ahead and change our font. You can change it to anything, but for this, to make it legible, we'll go to Arial Bold, which should be right there. So we'll go to Arial, set that to bold, like this. And then have it set to 72 size. Come on. You can always just go ahead and type that in. Not 702. 72, press enter. And for the alignment, we'll leave that like so to align left. Just click there. And now what we're going to do is we're going to type word drop, put it in all capital letters to make it easier. Word drop. And now let's go ahead and align that. First thing we'll do is we will use our alignment panel. If you don't already have it open, just go to Window and choose Align. Control K is also the keyboard shortcut. So I'm going to go ahead and center it right there, and then I'll also put it right there at the top. And then what we're going to do next, folks, is we're going to move that right above our stage. So hold the Shift key down and use the up arrow and knock that baby right up there. Yeah, that works. And with the text still selected, we're going to break it apart. And to do that, first what we shall do is go to Control B or modify break apart. And that brings it to individual letters. You see that? And then what we're going to do is we're going to convert each one to its own symbol. So click on W, press F8. That will convert to a symbol. And what you're going to do is you're just going to name that one. Let's do O1. O1. And set your registration down here to the bottom, like so. Have it as a graphic and click OK. And what we're going to do is we're going to continue that. So we'll click on O, follow the same process. F8, O2, make sure your registration is the bottom, your type is graphic, and click that. And then same thing for 5 and so on and so forth. O3, click OK. And what I'm going to do next, folks, is I'm going to pause this. Okay, I'm back. What I did was I paused it so that way you wouldn't have to watch me go through all this. But as you can see, what I've done is I have changed each and every one of these to a symbol. Right here in my library, which you should have as well, we'll go to Window and make sure the library is open if you don't. But as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those are the letters we need, folks. Isn't that good? All right. So let's go back to the instructions and see what's next. Okay, so we're going to press Control A on our keyboard. That is going to select all. So Control A, or I believe you can also go to your Edit menu and choose Select All. But as you can see, Control A is much easier. So we'll go to Control A. Then we're going to right-click on this, and we're going to choose distribute to layers. And what this is going to do is it's going to provide a layer for each one of these things, for each one of these symbols, okay? So distribute to layers. Then I'd like you to look at your timeline. So we could expand our timeline right now by taking the mouse, placing it here, and just dragging it down. As you can see, each one has its own layer. Isn't that fancy? I'm going to decrease the size of this to 50% so that way you can see everything that happens. All right. Okay, we already have the alignment panel open. That's the next part. All right, what we're going to do is next, I'm going to make the timeline a little bit larger. So let's change that to large because we're going to need all the way through 20. So let's do this. Highlight frame 20 with all layers. To do that, you just take your mouse, click once, and then just drag down to highlight all of them, okay? And then on your keyboard, press F6 to get a keyframe for each one. F6. And what that has done has created a keyframe for each one of our letters on each layer. And now what we're going to do is we're going to, on this, select everything on the stage, and then we're going to do a horizontal alignment. So as you can see, I'll deselect first. Okay, I've deselected. Make sure that the playhead is on frame 20. Control A to select everything. And the one we're going to choose is this one right here, align vertical center. And what we're going to do is we're going to animate this so that way it drops. Pretty neat, huh? Next, what we're going to do is we are going to move our keyframes. So we're going to click on frame 1 of layer name 2 and drag frame 2 at the position of your timeline. Let's see. So let's go like this. Click on frame 2 to select it. So we're on layer number 2. On the first keyframe, I want you to click it and drag it over once. See that? And what we're going to do is we're going to make a stair arrangement like this. Click right here. I'm going to drag it again, and so on and so forth for each subsequent layer. So it's going to be like a staircase. Then drag this over here. And that's what your timeline should look like. All right, next thing we're going to do is we shall create a keyframe. So this is the way we're going to do it. We're going to basically just repeat this staircase and pardon me. It says repeat previous step to the range create circuit. It should look like below. So if we take a look at the example here, let me turn this off. There you go. So you can see it's going to be a duplicate like that. So it says click over and repeat the step for the remaining layers. Repeat the previous step for the remaining layers, create staircase. So I click on frame 20 while pressing the Alt key. That's going to be a copy of it. All right, sounds good. So let's take a look at this. Click on frame 20 of layer 1, okay, like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the Alt key, hold that down, click and drag, and that creates a copy. And we're going to drag that one to frame number 7. It looks like frame 6, excuse me. So that's frame 5, frame 6, just like that. Okay, I see what's going on here. All right, hold the Alt key down and just do that again. So we're making another one. I'm sure there's an easier way to do this since I wrote this book over 10 years ago. 14 years ago now, but that's okay. If anything, it gets you adept at the use of keyframes. And we go like that. As you can see, it doesn't take too long. What I've done is I've created a duplicate of it. And this is where the fun begins, y'all. We get to add a motion tween next. So we'll add a motion tween. What we can do is this. We can just highlight these ones right here, create motion tween, and then we'll do the same for these as well. Actually, you know what? Go like that. I'll highlight these, throw a motion tween in there, and check out what happens. Boom. Hey, that's pretty cool. See how it just drops right down? Okay, next what we're going to do is we're going to go to frame number 44. So we'll just scroll over a little bit. 44 is right here. And we're going to insert another keyframe at, let's see here. Click on frame 44 and insert a keyframe, and then another one at frame 50. Okay, you can do that. So 44, F6, and then another one at 50. All right, and then what we're going to, I see what's happening here. What we're going to do is make another staircase arrangement. So it's going to be a matter like this. Let me scroll over on the timeline. So F6, F6. Pretty much what we're doing is we're going to make it drop down, and then we're going to make it drop down again. Kind of tedious, I know, but you know what? You're going to be really good at keyframing when this is done. The most important thing is you understand the concept. All right. And then on the last keyframe of each layer, we're going to move the letter below the stage as shown in the example. All right, so for example, what I'm going to do here is click on that, the keyframe. That works. So for each one, we're going to drop them down like so. And there we go. And then, of course, we just add the motion tween again. Not a problem. So we'll go motion. And then two more right there. Add another motion tween. Press enter and watch what happens. Okay, now let's go to window and test movie. Now in the previous ones, I said like, oh my goodness, I can't get it to where it shows up on the screen. Well, that's because I had it on the wrong setting. I figured it out. So let me show you exactly what this looks like. Go to your control menu. Well, first of all, save your work. That's the main thing. Save. So I'll save that real quick. This is chapter 5. Drop down text. Oops. So I will save that. Now what I'm going to do is go to Window and Test Movie. Check this out. You ready? It's under Control, excuse me. Control and Test Movie. Or you can just press Control and Enter. It opens up this little window. So it drops down again, and it's just a loop. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you make drop-down text using keyframes. Quite simple. A lot of fun. All right.